AI/ML, just put down over there saying new, right? If you have done any kind of AI/ML, you can just put down that, yes, I've done some AI/ML out there, right? Could not hear anything, Pranali. I think I'm audible. Let me know, guys. If I'm audible, just say yes. No, you don't need a laptop, but laptop is good, right? If you're joining from a laptop, then you can see the full screen. Seeing a code on the mobile, I don't know how feasible it is, right? Done some training, but not hands-on. See, after, like once you do some kind of a training, right, do some small mini project, any kind of mini project, right? That will help you to more get confidence. Yes. Okay, guys. So I can see that a lot of things are out here, right? And a lot of questions also coming up. So please put the questions, ask me the questions at the last, right? Why? Because when I'm taking the training, if you ask questions, they will scroll up. You can see now only on the screen, right? I'm seeing so many messages out here. If somebody has asked a question at the top, I'll lose it, right? So guys, let us get started. So today's session is all about AI ML, and specifically my target is for C# developers, right? And this is a 1 hour of session. Must be for the Q&A. It will take more 15 minutes. I'm just taking that. Must be this session will take me 1.5 hours, or must be 1 hour and 15 minutes, right? But 15-20 minutes I will give to questions as well, right? And I'm dead sure that if you listen to me carefully, if you ask right questions, right, you will get a right roadmap of how, as a C# developer, how, as an ASP.NET developer, you can go and you can implement AI in your projects, right? So very quickly, my name is Shiv. I have around 30 years of experience. I have my own software companies. I also do teaching or corporates, right? Do consultancy, right? And definitely with all that experience for the last 5 years, I have been implementing AI ML. And with whatever I have implemented AI ML, right? I have created a course here, and this course is very specific for C# developers, right? Because what happens is many C# developers, right, when they start learning AI ML, right, what they do is that they start first with Python, which is okay. Like I started with Python, but suddenly I found myself disconnected. I found that I'm learning Python, but I'm not getting that confidence that I can integrate that with C#, right? Or with my ASP.NET. See, at the end of the day, many projects are in ASP.NET. You can't say that write off the ASP.NET projects and now you have to do AI/ML. That's not possible. So with the legacy application, how to implement AI/ML, right? With the legacy application, how to implement AI/ML inside the Microsoft ecosystem. So this lessons, what we are having now today, right, is where my approach is that as a C# developer, I would suggest that start from the Microsoft ecosystem. Means first start saying that, okay, how does a model look like in C#, right? So we have something called as ML.NET, create a model in that, and then must be look at Python code. See that how you can do LLMs or integration of LLMs with Azure AI. Once you know that, right, then must be you can look into how OpenAI looks like, right? So basically, my thought here is that because your home ground is C# ASP.NET, you should first look at some code in that, right? And after that, when you start looking at code into Python, right, it becomes very easy, right? So remember that what I have learned when I started learning AI/ML with C# is that when somebody was teaching me Python, I was just doing Python, Python, Python. I was not getting convinced, or I cannot convince even the other person that how can I integrate this AI/ML into C#, right? And how do I actually do things out there, right? And frankly, if you look at the AI/ML job market, so the point here is that we do AI/ML, but we have a conviction of how to use that AI/ML inside your project. That is the most important part, right? Second is, guys, if you look at the job market, I will just open this. Like I was just browsing through Naukri.com. I said that how about picking up, some job posting. So there is a job posting out here. If you look at this job posting, right, this job posting is recently out there, right? You can see the salary packages out here, work from home. Definitely you can go for a higher salary package because I can see that 1 week ago this job was posted and it has only approximately 100 plus applicants. And remember that this is C# ASP.NET. Please note this is completely C# ASP.NET, right? If you look at over here, he's not saying Python, 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 right? You will see that he's talking about semantic kernel. See, Python is needed, huh, guys. I'll talk about in the class. I'll be showing some code out there. So semantic kernel is a .NET AI/ML component, right? Lang graph, yes, we'll go for Python out there. Look at those concepts like RAG, look at those concepts like guardrail. So when you actually see, when somebody says that, okay, like C Sharp, ASP.NET, these are all needed, SQL Server is all needed, right? How to now go and apply for this job posting? So what I've seen is that the recent trend in the market is you should know C Sharp, ASP.NET, you should know Azure, you should know architecture, right? And if with that, if you're having RAG, if you're having MCP, if you're having agentic AI, if you're having semantic kernel, if you're having lang graph, right? You will suddenly see that your competition is almost nothing, right? So that's how the market is, and let us see that for this market how to prepare. So this is my agenda, guys, today, and let us start with the agenda. So first thing is, let's talk about these two words here, AI and ML. You can see that I have certain agenda out here. So before I start with the agenda, let me talk about three things out here. Last time on the YouTube, I was talking about these three things, right? Because this will help you to position as an AI ML developer in C Sharp, ASP.NET, how to position yourself. See, one is the AI consumer, right? The AI consumer are people who are doing vibe coding, must be they are actually using ChatGPT or whatever, right? Anthropic, to generate code. Now that is like by default, like I mean, like using AI ML or using an AI tool or using an LLM, there is nothing great in it. That is by default. So don't think that that is like AI ML. That is definitely AI. You are using AI to increase your productivity, right? But the other two places is where you should see yourself placed. So you have your C Sharp ASP.NET, you have your Angular, you have your Azure, right? And there are two things out here. One is called as an AI engineer. What the AI engineer does is he actually drags and drops and orchestrates like a no code, low code. So for example, you can see that this is my screen of Azure AI out here. So I can go here, I can drag and drop agents, right? I can go ahead here, I can attach a knowledge base, I can implement security, right? So this is more of using OpenAI or using Azure AI, you can do that. Right? But the last one, which is where the real thing is, the AI developer. That means you can write ML.NET code, you can create a model using that, you can use Python, you understand costing part of it, right? And this is where the real thing is. And as an AI developer, definitely, if you are a hardcore AI developer, then it is very easy to leverage yourself to an engineer, or it's and like AI consumer is by default, right? So very important is that you should try to go into this level out here. Remember, we are all C# programmers, we are ASP.NET programmers. So we would like to see the AI code or the ML code as a part of our C# ecosystem, and not um, like a detached block of Python or something, right? With that, what will happen is that it will look very weird, right? Those kind of solutions. So try to learn other things around it, right? So with that, guys, let us get started. So when it comes to do AI ML in C Sharp, right? They have given here something called as ML.NET, right? So I would suggest everyone to first start with the basics of ML.NET and side by side then look at the Python code, right? And remember, guys, ML.NET is quite matured now. So if I look at 11 years back, it had its own issues. But now when I look at ML.NET, I can say that proudly, yes, we can implement good solutions by ML.NET. You always need Python. Now, Python you can't excuse. But if I'm doing simple regression, if I'm doing simple modeling, then why not ML.NET, right? Now, before we start with AI/ML, there are some concepts out here. One is called as the features, labels, algorithm, training, and model, right? These concepts you can remember by the word flat M, right? So what happens now is when you say machine learning, right? Let's understand the word machine learning. In machine learning, what you do is that you take some data. For example, you can see here, I have a simple Excel sheet here, which is age and insurance, right? I will come to questions later on, guys. Questions, please put it at the last, or else your question will pop up at the top, right? So you have a data here, age and insurance. So you take this data and you give it to an algorithm, and it creates something called as a model, right? So machine learning is nothing but you give data to an algorithm, and that algorithm gets trained and he creates a model. So for example, here we have an age data with the insurance. So the next question comes is, what exactly is this model then, right? For now, just remember that this model is nothing but a very simple mathematical equation. See what happens now. For example, you get this data like this, right? You see this data out here and you say, okay, so for 10, this is this, for 80, this is this, for a person who is age of 75, can you tell me what would be the insurance, right? So you want to predict, okay? So the first thing what you will do out here is that you will say that, okay, this data at this moment is following which kind of pattern. For example, at this moment, now I'm just trying to show it by Excel. I'll show it by using a C# as well. So I see, okay, like this looks like a linear algorithm. Oh, linear algorithm. So linear algorithm means it's going to go and follow the y equal to mx plus c, right? Now, please understand that you don't have to know maths over here. Don't think that, okay, like, so that means I need to know maths, I need to know statistics. No, you need to know where to apply which fundamental. For example, at this moment, what I'm talking here is about regression. Regression means what? If you have two numerical values, two numerical running values like this, and if you want to find a connection between them, that is termed as regression. Now, it can be a linear regression, it can be a polynomial regression, right? But regression is all about to find a connection between two mathematical values out here, right? So once I find the connection, then what will happen is if I say 75, it will predict what is there for 75. Okay. So now as a, what do you call, as a machine learning person, what I know is that I go through this data. Now remember at this moment, this data is so visual at this moment, right? I mean, like looking at the visual, you can easily say that this is linear, right? But think about that. If it's a million of records, you can't look through your bare eyes and say that this is linear or this is polynomial or this is something else, right? It's very difficult to know. For that, then you need to write code. You need to use some auto ML thing out there to understand that what this data is all about. But at this moment, through Excel, I know that this is a linear regression out here, right? So you have a data. Through that data, you go ahead, you train, and you create something called as a model. A model is a mathematical equation. Look at this over here. If you see, if you ask me internally, if I go and take this and if I train a model, it will create something called as y equal to 195 into x plus 133. So that means now if I just give him the x, he will calculate the y, right? This is called as a model. A model is nothing but an equation, a pre-calculated equation where you just supply the value and he will predict, right? Okay. So, but definitely this is all in Excel out here. So how do we do it in .NET? How do we create that model? Let us try to understand. So first thing here, so remember, model is a mathematical equation. For that, what you need to do is that you need to go ahead and you need to provide data. And the data format what you provide, again, very important thing, the data format what you need to provide is in the format of features and labels. Features and labels. Features and labels, right? So what exactly is a feature? A feature is the input which you want, which the end user will provide. Okay. So feature is the input and the label is the output. So that means, when we are training the model, we will tell him that this age is the input and the insurance is the output. Your data format should be in the format of features and labels. If it is not in the format of features and labels, it is very difficult. So features and labels, that is the structure you need to have. You cannot have any kind of haphazard formats out there, right? Look at this. This is the basic linear regression. Look at it more. You can see here, this is the orange one out here is linear. This one is polynomial. This one is exponential. So remember a regression, when you say find the connection between two data, it can have different mathematical equations as well, right? Okay, so as a developer, right, somebody gives me data, fine, right? So for example, now in our C# code out here, this is the data out here, right? The same data which is there, I'm just providing it as a collection out here, right? Also, what purposely I've done is that I've provided some values out here like a not a numeric. So sometimes what happens is you will get some null values, you will get some bad values as well, right? So purposely I have provided some values like this. Now remember, this collection can come from SQL Server. This collection can be loaded from CSV. For now, I have just hard coded it so that we can understand it well, right? So look at this. This is the data out here. The same data, what is in Excel, approximately same data. It is in my .NET out here, right? So now I will provide, and this data is in the format of features and labels, right? So we have, so Microsoft has given us here something called as ML.NET, right? So what you do is that you create your project and you go ahead and you import these, you add references to these two NuGet packages. You can see out here Microsoft.ml, right? And for this demo, you will also need something called as Microsoft.ml.mkl components. So both of them, ML and Microsoft.ml.mkl components out here, right? This Microsoft.ml is where all the actions happen. So this will have the way to understand features and labels. This will have all the algorithms, and it will help us to. So this is the main thing out here. This MKL components is what it is, the maths part of it. See, at the end of the day, internally, AI and ML, machine learning, creating a model is all maths internally, right? Now, our system.maths library of our .NET is very slow. I mean, like, why it is slow is because it uses the CPU for computing, right? So this MKL components is created by the Intel people out there, right? And this has all the maths component which are very fast as compared to our system.maths, right? So that's why these both of them are needed out here, right? So with all that, and this code is all available. One of our friends will provide the GitHub link also, right, on the chat. So now here is a very simple ML.NET code, and let me go step by step and then we'll run it. Remember, the goal is to provide the data as features and labels and to create a model, right? So if you look at this whole thing out here, uh, so let me just snip it. I'll come to questions, guys. I'll come to questions. Remember, this is lab one out here. So simple lab one, right? So the first thing is, okay, I'll just hide it. I can see lot of questions out there. I can understand it, right? So, so first thing is you have to go ahead here and create the ML context. So everything belongs to ML context namespace, right? ML context object, this is the root object out here, right? And you can see here, I have provided here the data. This get linear regression, this get linear insurance data is having the data in the format of features and labels. So remember the diagram, you will have features and labels, right? This data will be fed into the algorithm. At this moment, we know that our algorithm is linear regression, and that will create a model for us. So remember this word here. I'm like, you will actually go and take this algorithm, you will train it, and you will create a model. This model is nothing but y equal to mx plus c or y equal to something else or some big vector out there, but it will be some kind of a maths at the end of the day. So if you want to just remember this word flat M, features, labels, and this basic machine learning concepts, right? So look at this. I'm providing the data out here. So you can see here, so everything is into ML context. Huh? You will say ML context dot data load, ML context dot transform, do all this, right? So always ML context dot. So it is a Fluent API. So you'll say ML context dot this, ML context dot this, and so on. Like how we have HTTP dot post, HTTP dot get, right? So get dot error dot then dot, right? So it's a Fluent API kind of a structure, right? So first thing is I will load the data. You can see here, we need to load the data. Now, after that, what we need to do is that we need to go and create a pipeline. See this whole thing here. If you just visualize it, it is a pipeline at the end of the day, right? I'm like, if you want to, must be just say that must be this is the pipeline. Okay, at least this much is the pipeline, you know. So I provide the features and labels, the inputs, right, and outputs, and I get the model, right? So if you look at here, one is we said ML context.data, we loaded the data, ML context.transform. So in this, what happens is there are two stages out here. One is called as the, you can say the T and the T stages. So one is the transformation and one is the training. So transformation state says, for example, at this moment, if you see some of my age data is missing. Remember when we had this data out here, purposely what I've done is uh, some of my data, I have just made it not a numeric null. If you want, you can make it null as well, right? So what I'm saying out that now these missing values have to be replaced by something, right? Either you exclude that value by using SQL Server or whatever, right? Given nice data, right? If not, then within the pipeline, if you want to clean it, the first thing is called as transformation. So if you want to clean it, for example, I'm using here missing value and say replace it by mean. I can replace it by max. I can replace it by MIN mean. I can replace it by median. I can replace it by some extrapolation, right? But you have to replace that value, or else uh, if the data is not right, the prediction won't be right, right? Now, remember, my advice would be that such kind of transformation, do it outside the pipeline. Don't do it inside ML.NET. I would suggest do it in SQL Server, do it somewhere else, clean up in Excel, whatever methodology you want to use, right? use SSIS, ETL or whatever, right? But fine, that is at this moment, I'm just as an example. So first is I'm cleaning up the data. Now remember, there are lots of functions out here, replace, for remove nulls, if conditions. You can put a lot of things out here, right? After that, I'm saying now go ahead and what we need first is the features. So look at here. This features is the first thing out here. So I'm saying here dot append, please, my features is the age. See, at this moment, I have only one feature. Huh? I can have multiple features if I want. So I'm saying that features is the age. And what is my label? My label, you can look at here, my label is the premium. Now, this syntax for you would be looking very tough to understand. But remember, the way it works is, it works like this. ML context, right? Dot transform. After that, what you do is that you create one layer of data, like example, like replace missing values. And then after that, it is like, okay, append, look at it. So append what? Append the feature. After that, again, append what? Append the, the label. So this is the label out here. Also append the algorithm, right? So look at this, the algorithm at this moment, I'm using OLS. OLS is an algorithm to predict linear regression. Okay. So remember, ML context dot transform. You don't need to know the syntax. The chat GPT is out there, right? But you need to understand the structure, right? Because if you want to change something, if you want to do something, then you need to understand it, right? So dot replace missing values, right? Dot append, dot append, dot append, and dot append, right? Only thing what you need to remember is that, have you specified the features, right? Have you specified the labels, and have you specified the algorithm out here, right? And after that, once that is done, then you can go ahead and you can go and train it. So this, if you call the fit method, it gets trained and then it creates a model, right? So that's the model. Remember that thing what I've shown out there, right? So if you see this code out here, right, very quickly, this is a very basic ML.NET code. Later on, this code can become more complex like this, like multi-feature. Look at this. Remember, for example, look at this sample code out here, right? It is saying that my feature is not only age. Remember, features are input. So somebody can provide the age, he can provide the high BP and low BP, right? Just very bad examples, but he can provide age, three features, and depending on that, you have the premium. Like he can provide age or he can provide income. Depending on income, also the premium goes up and down, right? So you can have multiple features, but your label will always be one. Why? Because you are predicting, you can have multiple labels for now, but just keep in mind that we are predicting only one, right? So it can be complex like this, and much more complex code can be there. But the point, this is the simplest one. So there it is. This is the model. And then you can go and question the model saying, okay, for 82, what is it? He will say, okay, for 82, this is the predicted premium, right? So let us go and run this code, right? So I'm going to go and run this code. Remember, this code is available on our, it is available on our GitHub, right? The GitHub links will be given on the chat. So I'm going to go and, so if you want to run this lab, you have to just say, I've made it all static methods, all labs dot simplest ML.NET code out here, right? So let me go and run this. I'll come to questions. I'll come to questions, guys. So remember, provide the features, provide the labels. Oh, okay. Yes, today I commented a lot of things out there. So bad of me. I did a lot of commenting today. I removed something. Ah, I hope I don't get some errors here. Like, okay. So let us go line by line. Let us look into this. And remember, at the end of the day, that model object, what you find out there is a mathematical equation. That is very important to understand. So here it is. First thing is you will create the ML context. You will load the data. This data has to be in the format of features and labels, right? And then you will specify that pipeline dot append the labels and so on, right? You will then go and train. You can see here this, we are training it, right? And then once the model, this model is an object at this moment, right? But internally it's a mathematical equation. Please understand it. And I can now go and say predict, right? Now remember, whenever you're doing prediction, right? When you are saying that I'm going to go and query the model. Now remember, it can be a model or it can be a complex LLM like OpenAI or Azure AI, right? Always remember that in AI ML, right, there are two things. One is that when you're creating the model, like this one is the training part, and this one is termed as inference. Inference means while I'm querying the model. See, many people will not do training of the model. Like one of our friends said that he has created some HR thing and he must be directly creating a chatbot. So if you're directly creating a chatbot, that means that you are using a LLM tool at the back, right? So that means that you are only doing inference. Inference means querying the model, getting the output and doing things. So remember, projects you need to divide into two parts, or at least you need to give two kind of thinking. Am I just creating a model, or am I using a pre-existing LLM and programming around it, which is called as inference? So at this moment, when I'm doing dot predict, think about it like inference, training and inference, right? So I'm predicting it and it is 82. So for 82, I am 17950, 17950. We can just guess it, simple data, right? So 82. So yeah, that looks right. 80 is 16,000. So 82 looks like 17950 is good, right? Remember, at this moment, this data is not like linear. Means if you see it is 10 is 2000 and 20 is 3000 and 30 is 4000. I did not keep that. I made 22,500. So that's why if the data is not really super linear, huh, it is having its own problems. So the prediction then the methodology a little bit becomes different. That's why you can see it's predicting 17,000 something, which is very near to and here also that night that something is missing out here. So again, the data is missing. So that's, but it's not a perfect linear thing out there, right? And normally data you will have like this only, right? They are not linear. They are having issues. They are having some data is missing, right? And in that thing, we need to have the cleansing process, right? So very easy. If you want to do ML, right? ML means machine learning, right? Creating a model. Then one of the things what you can use is something called as ML.net, right? Now, so that was a very important thing out there. Now, one more thing out here is, as a programmer, one is that writing code, you know, creating models, creating a wrapper around LLM, programming it, right? This is what is called as AI developer. He's a hardcore developer. He will write a Python code, right? At this moment, I will not show the Python code, but in Python code is also same. He will write the Python code. He knows where it is. He knows how to fetch from. He can customize things for it, right? He can customize things. But then somebody will say, no, like, I don't want to do that developer role. I want to do drag and drop. I want to just go ahead and upload this file into some open AI and get it trained. But remember, when you're doing that thing, right, you are going to get charged for it. Your customization little bit comes down. Please understand it, right? So for example, the other way the developers do is the AI engineering way. For example, at this moment, uh, this is the Microsoft Foundry out here. And you can see this is something here called as Launch Machine Learning Studio. So what you can do is that you can go to example, any kind of thing out there like Machine Learning Studio, AI ML Machine Learning Studio of Azure, or must be you can go to OpenAI, must be you can go to Cloud, right? Everyone has this kind of UI, and then you become an AI engineer. So in other words, what you do is that you will say, okay, let me go and create a job out here. And in this, you will then go and define, what kind of data it is. Like you will select, okay, it's regression. Look at it. Now I'm not writing code. Everyone put down on the chat what I hope everybody is getting it. Concepts are same. I wrote a regression code out here. Now what I'm doing is that I'm doing more of engineering, saying that no, like I'm not going to write code out here. Let me take up regression, right? Let me go ahead and take up let me do the basic setting out here. Like let me create this background job. Let me take this, let me give him the data and let me create a model out of it, right? This is termed as the next thing, which is called as the AI engineering, right? The next thing which is called as AI engine. Remember, whenever you are developing solutions, right, you'll be using both the combinations, frankly. So sometimes you have very custom data, you want to massage it, you want to do something, right? Then you will be an AI developer. Then you will say, okay, like let us use some tool and do something very fast out there. Must be become an AI engineer, right? So if you see at this moment here also, we have a model. This is, if you look at here, I will not go into this, but just giving you an idea, look at this. This is a very simple model which has been hosted out here. And this is the endpoint, which is out here. So I can go here to this endpoint, right? And I can start I can start testing it. I can start putting data out here. I can start predicting. So this, what I've done out here is that what the tools do is that you can go to that system out there, upload the data, create the model, and then query through Angular and query through ASP.NET or query through this, right? But remember, over here, this does not become a part of the system. How this becomes, this is really a part of your system. This is a part of C Sharp. It's mixed into ASP.NET. You can mix into ASP.NET. It becomes a part of you, right? So two ways of looking at it, AI developer and AI engineer out there, right? Okay. Now, basically, so that means what I'm trying to say is that very quickly, uh, this is the syllabus out here, guys. I'm coming up with a course, right? So basically, when you are saying that you want to become an AI ML developer using C Sharp and Python, right? Many courses, what I've seen out there, I'm not blaming any course out there. They either only teach you Python or they either teach you some kind of a tool set. They say, hey, look at this. I uploaded it. I got a model done. They don't talk about security. So when you are learning this, right, my only request would be that one is that understand that how the AI developer role is. Other one is definitely you have to know Python. See, without Python, nothing can happen, right? Python is the essential part because a lot of components still are not available in ML.NET. Some of the components are not, a lot of them, 80% are available, right? But some of them are not available. So when it is not available, what you can do is that you can write in Python and export that model and consume in ASP.NET or C Sharp, right? So I would suggest that whenever you are learning, learn about how to do chunking. Learn about that if you have textual data, how to convert that into a GPT, into a BERT, how to do RAG, right? How to write good prompts. See, again, like don't become a prompt engineer. Prompt engineer, again, a lot of people just lead. I've seen courses like prompt engineering. Only prompt engineering, I don't know what is that, right? But yes, you have to understand that when you're writing the prompt, what are the fundamentals to be there, right? Second, definitely you can't excuse Azure AI from this. Like one which I've shown the ecosystem, you can't excuse from this, right? How to create an agent. For example, here, if you see, one is this is the machine learning part of it. Another one is you want to program around the LLM, means you already have ChatGPT or you already have, I'm sorry, OpenAI or this, right? So you select that, like example, you can see here, I'm selecting this, whatever is the model, I'm giving my data out here, and then I'm training this thing and I'm creating my own system, right? So again, Azure AI, you cannot excuse out here, right? Semantic kernel, you cannot excuse out here. So when you are learning any kind of thing around .NET, right? Make sure that it has the mix of both Python, Azure, and as well as ML.NET, right? Okay. So with that, guys, let us go through let me see what more. I will come to questions, guys. I'll come to questions, right? So we saw the simplest ML.NET code, right? And okay, so this no code, low code, right? Over here. So here is a very like Rushali is here. Rushali, remember that, guys. Whenever we are planning a training on the coming 6th, right? So whenever we are training, because we know that when I'm training, such kind of topics, right? I alone cannot do it. Let me be very clear about it. There are too many things. There is Azure AI, there are R&Ds, there are lots of like POCs. Suddenly when you're going into Azure AI Foundry, you will find that a lot of things are out here, right? So Rushali has come up with a demo. So I told her that in the morning, can you go and create a no code, low code, right? What it should do is that it should take up a resume, right? So create a small agent by using Azure AI, right? And that he should analyze your resume and he should actually go and generate interview questions around it. Also talk about, if there is any kind of a skill gap, right? So what she has done is she has actually created an Azure agent out here, right? So this is an Azure agent, very, very easy. This is, remember, again, guys, don't stick to only Azure AI engineering. Look at that job profile, which I just shown you, right? Over here, he is not talking about only Azure engineering or AI engineering, I'm sorry. He's also talking about guardrail. He's talking about semantic kernel, which is actually coding. He's talking about RAG. For that, you need to do programming. This is where, that how do you query a vector in SQL Server or how do you query a Postgre vector, right? That all comes into picture. But as a quick and dirty, we have Vrushali has created this. So what she has done, she went here and she created an agent, very easy. She went here. She said, build an agent out here and she created something here called as a resume reviewer, right? In this resume reviewer, what she has done is, so over here, now remember, a lot of people, what they will do is that somebody will say, I can just upload this on Chat GPT and he will give me that resume review and he will give me all the questions, Shiv, right? Whenever you are actually going and applying AI ML, you have to apply your custom knowledge base. For example, like Questpond is into all this interview questions and so on, right? When I look at the resume, right, one of the things which I will catch is that you have a gap. Must be that gap. I will look into certain things. For example, I will say that if you don't have Azure, then please put Azure. If you are having 10 years of experience, why don't you have microservices? Now, these are something more which is human thing, right? Which as an experience I'm bringing in, right? So for that, what you have to do is that one is that you will use the GPT model, whatever you want to use at the back, right? You want to use Claude, you want to use whatever, right? You can use it out here. Second is you will apply your own knowledge base. Look at this over here. uh, so here she has uploaded as a file search. So she had put up a knowledge base out here, and in this knowledge base, what she has done is she has uploaded, a resume format. She has saying that this is a resume format, which is a format of for a 10 years person, right? So now what happens is I can now go ahead, I can upload a resume out here, right? So let me see that if I can find some resume, right? Resume sample. I can go here and I can take up any resume. Let me take this sample architecture out here. I'll just drag and drop. And I'm expecting that, oh, sorry, it should give me some kind of suggestions out there. Oh, where did it go? Uh, sorry, I lost it. Let me go to portal again. One is the programming part, one is the AI engineering part, and the Python part, right? So let us see this small demo out here. This is called as the Azure Foundry. Okay. Remember, guys, Azure Foundry, AI Foundry, whatever, right? Or OpenAI, they're very easy. Once you understand the concept of RAG and etc., you can very easily go and develop things out here. But the programming part is not so easy. The programming part, you have to understand a lot of concepts. So let me go and take up from here. Actually, I dragged and dropped. What happened? I can attach from here. I thought that he should. Okay, I'll just take up sample architecture out here, right? Is not supported. Okay, so I don't have a PDF. Oh gosh. So, okay, so do I have a document which is a PDF out here? Okay, this is some JD. This is a job description actually. Let me see in my downloads. I'm sure in my downloads something or something should be there of all are JD for me. Let me take a whatever resume I have here. Okay. Oops, no personal information. Pause it. Okay, it's so bad it is. Correspond, please make sure that you go ahead and that's my mistake actually. Okay, I can just put this, isn't it? Let me see, I have some testing over here. Right. Hang on. Let me just. Okay, so the point is, that document is not working, and I need to put up a PDF. Let me just show that. Let me just show that output, and then we will go ahead, right? I'm sure that everybody's understanding what I'm saying, right? So, okay. So here it is. I'm just go and so basically here it is. I'm uploading a resume out here, right? And I've already created an agent. I've provided him knowledge base, right? And so on. And I'm expecting that he will go ahead. He will do my resume. He will review this resume. He will tell me what the problems are, right? And he will give me suggestions, right? So you can see that's a very simple one, right? So remember AI engineering, this is what many people are doing, right? But the AI programming, very less people are doing out there, right? So guys, let us go ahead and look at questions, right? Remember guys, very quickly before I go to the questions out here. Okay, let's look into questions, right? And slowly we will look into it, right? Okay, too many questions now. I'm going to go and pause out here. So very quickly. Let me go to questpond.com. Guys, just before I start with questions out here, we are starting with the AIML course. We are having a Java course as well, but this is the AIML course. Okay, I don't Can someone provide me the link of the AML course on the chat? I don't have the link. Okay, I can go from here as well. I'm sorry. So that is the course out here, guys. So I'll take up questions, right? And whatever I've discussed out here, guys, remember, guys, don't go on this cost. We have a lot of good discounts out there, right? So look at this course, right? It has approximately 80 labs, if I'm not wrong. 60, 70, 80 labs it must be having, right? The formatting is bad, right? 70 labs. And at the last, what we'll do is that by using AI programming, by using C Sharp, by using ASP.NET, by using RAG, the one which I shown now, right? The .NET Interview Mate. I call this a .NET Interview Mate, which helps me to go and say that you don't have this, you don't have this, right? And so on. So we'll go and we'll create that project. Two projects in this course I'm targeting, right? One is which will be the .NET Interview Mate, and second is the prediction part to predict the Nifty, right? So almost 70 to 80 labs out here, right? This lecture is out there. Okay, let's go and look at questions out here. So let me start from the top. Yeah. Okay. 25K is too much. I can agree to that. Yeah, please. So let's look at the questions, right? Uh, okay, let me start from top. Okay. MS has come with autopilot. Do you think we need to learn Python for AI or it is something, right? See, guys, autopilot or other things, right? We are talking about again AI consumption out there, Ahmed sir. So I'm not sure. See the AI consumption part, what you're saying, right? Generating code. This course is not targeting that. This course is targeting more of AI developer, right? Hello, I'm a game developer using wrappers for prediction, some result. That's all. So Sapna, what you're doing is that you're programming around the LLM. You're programming around the LLM. That is good. See, but it is not just the wrapper again. It is important to do RAG, MCP, agentic AI. For example, if you're saying that you are only programming around LLM means you have an endpoint which is given and you are just calling that endpoint and you are getting the results. Now that is like making an HTTP call. Okay. Uh, uh, For WPF and C Sharp, yes. See, you can see Nilesh. So everything out is C Sharp, right? At this moment, whatever I saw, I have seen you. I have shown you the console application. So you can refer ML.NET. You can refer the ML.NET Maths component, and definitely you can do it. Uh, how much is MS agent framework important to learn? So see, Salman here, the agent part, right? Agent you are using of OpenAI, agent you are using of Microsoft, it does not matter. The properties of the agents are fixed, right? So for example, the agents will have properties like knowledge base, RAG, MCP. Do you want to run it in a continuous loop? So that thing will be same everywhere, right? Uh, So knowledge base, so question from again from Salman here, a lot of question. Thank you, Salman, right? See, features and labels are the format by which you can create a model. Please understand. The question here is that, sir, is knowledge base combination of features and labels provided to the model? No, knowledge base is different. Knowledge base means what, For example, what Rushali did out here is, right? In this agent, she uploaded a knowledge base, which is this. I'll just show you. So I uploaded a knowledge base. This is what I've uploaded, right? So I said that here, what are the questions which are very important? So I'm just going to resume. I'm sorry. So what are the questions which are important, right? This is a document, a simple knowledge base out here saying that, oh, in object-oriented programming, they ask these kind of questions. Then in theory, they ask these kind of questions, right? Now, this is the knowledge base which I built. And this knowledge base, I went ahead and I applied to the agent. So remember, guys, if you're only doing agent programming, I'm just saying, if you're only doing agent programming, the cost of your LLM will be too high. Think about if somebody comes and tells you saying that, no, like, I don't want to pay any money. A lot of people are like that. You can see like how many of them are saying that 25K is huge, right? The cost. So in the same way, many customers are reluctant to pay money. So when they're not reluctant, when they're reluctant to pay money, at that time, what happens? This kind of knowledge base, if you apply to agents, if you program around agents, you are going to get a hit. The tokens will be consumed in a very high way. Please understand. The tokens means whenever you do any kind of processing, right? The LLM consumes a token and you get a cost accordingly. But now if somebody says no, like I have a hospital management system, and believe me, like when it comes to the Indian counterpart as well as the US counterpart nowadays also, right? They have a specific cost in mind. Now, in that cost, if I start attaching LLM, paid LLMs, Do you think that I would be able to sell them? So at that time, definitely my customization. Can I put up a local LLM like Llama and do something? Second, also important is security, right? So in case of security also, they will say no, like I don't want to upload my knowledge. Now this is my knowledge base. It has nothing. It has just interview questions, right? But think about, banking systems. They cannot upload their accounting data and so on into LLMs out there, right? It is calling for trouble. So they would say that yes, we want to do AI/ML and we want to do in our secured zone out there, right? So again, remember that programming around agents means not just creating a wrapper, huh? So knowledge base is not features and labels, Salman. Knowledge base is the knowledge which you provide, and the LLM, whenever it actually and the AI agent, right? That agent is nothing but um, it does some specific AI activity like predicting something, sorting the resume, and so on. It will use your knowledge base. It will use the LLM and do the prediction, right? Also, my GitHub links are out there. Both the links are not working, is it? Let me just see why both the links are not working. That is the link. Okay, copy, open in browser, doesn't work. Yeah, so that's the GitHub code out here, guys. If anybody wants to look at the GitHub code, you can have a look at the code out there, right? Okay, so let us go to more questions out there. Uh, Let us look at questions. Yes. You can join our WhatsApp group. Yes. 5-year subscribers, guys, people who are 5-year subscribers, please look into the recordings out there, which we have taken last time, right? You can go through the recordings. Live training is a live training, guys. Uh, inference. So inference means what, when you query the LLM or when you query the model is the inference phase, right? Okay. Venkatesh, please see the recordings if you are interested, right? Yeah. Uh, okay. So guys, very quickly, I can see a lot of questions out there. I want to just also talk about the roadmap, right? See, this is a very simple roadmap out here, right? If you're a .NET developer, right, what kind of things you need to do for AI/ML out here? Point number one, let me see if I can snip this. I'll come to questions again, right? So there are two parts to this, right? See, one, what happens is, so this is the model so this is the whole ecosystem, how it looks like, right? So if you're this is the LLM model out here. It can be LLM model. It can be that simple model in .NET we created y equal to mx plus c, and everything is around this, right? So one is that you will say, I will use ML.NET and I will create this model. So you need to learn ML.NET. You need to make sure that your data is in labels and features format. You need to choose an algorithm like linear regression or something, right? So this is the training part of it. Inference part, as someone said, what is the inference part? Inference is nothing but when you query the model. Now, when you're querying the model, that means that you should know about security, right? For that, like in our course, we look into Azure content safety. For instance, somebody can go into the chat out there and say that, can you download all the knowledge base and give me? For example, assume that it's a banking system, okay, and there is a chat bot on it, and somebody will say, can you please give me an Excel file of all the balance sheet? Now that should not happen, right? So security out here. Second, you should also know what is called as RAG, because whenever you are querying a model out here, you cannot just go and query anything. You have to have a context, and this context is set by the RAG, right? So remember that RAG, you can either use now SQL Server, I won't use it, but we have something called as Postgre. You can use Postgre to store the vectors. MCP, right? The model context protocol. You will have a lot of your .NET code, and that .NET code you would like to call through the LLM. Again, this one is the important part out here, right? And agentic AI, right? Where you want to go and run the agent continuously out here. So you can see all these red things out here, right? Which you see out here, the ONNX, the Azure Content Safety, right? I find that, so this is the whole ecosystem in general, right? And these red things out here are nothing but, which I think that as a .NET developer, I should know. when I'm creating the ecosystem, right? So let me go back to questions, right? Uh, yeah. Guys, one of the things, always in these lectures, what I get is that, oh, like 25K is too much, right? And I understand it. And why 25K, right, guys? Because as I told you, right, if it is the 5 year subscription, right, just the recorded videos, it's alone me. But when we are coming up with a group of trainers, somebody has to do the R&D, somebody has to go and upload the videos. It has some cost, right? And guys, at this, I'm not trying to sell here, like, because at the end of the day, I'm a teacher. Investing on education is the biggest thing at this moment. If you see the way the market is, right? Okay, let me not scare anyone. The WhatsApp group looks so scary, right? But at this moment, ML.NET, RAG, MCP, then you are losing that thing out, right? You're losing that part out. So my request would be that I know that everywhere there are financial problems, right? But try to see that, and 25K is not a big thing. 3 months, 30 hours of this is 30 hours of course, right? It will happen on every Saturday and Sunday, right? So we are planning for 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. initially, but then we will also extend more 30 minutes, right? So 2 hours on Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday. The Monday to Friday is yours. Practice, right? And it takes almost 2 months. So I feel that the 30 hours of training, right, with all that which is out there, I think I feel that if I was out there, I would have invested it, right? But I can understand that a lot of people saying that I can't afford it. For AI developer role, Surendra question here: is Python required for AI ML while a C# developer? Python is required, Surendra. If you look at the course material course out there, where did it go? Yeah. So if you look at the course out here, in this, I have explicitly, so one is I have put a basic Python lesson out here. Without this, you can't do it. And the way you should learn is, for example, the way the learning should happen is, okay, I will go ahead and I will do a simple linear regression using ML.NET. And the same linear regression I should do in Python as well, guys. The same linear regression I will do in Python as well. So somewhere down below, it will be in Python. So for example, if I say, okay, I will go and write some code using, so let us say I will write an MCP, a model context protocol, right? So somewhere I must have, so yeah, MCP, right? MCP. So this over here is a lab as well. So if I write a code of MCP out here, or if I write a code of agentic AI, like agentic AI with semantic kernel, then I will also have to do agentic AI with Python also. Both of them you need to do, huh, guys. Please understand it, right? So that you know that here how I do it and there how I do it. So if you're learning, then please make sure that both of the things are taken care, right? Uh, Feature plus label is not knowledge base. It is for training. Knowledge base word is very different, right? So once you create your model in Python, how I can in ML.NET, how I can go and run in Python, right? Also vice versa. So question from Shravan here. Shravan's question here is that if I create something in Python, how I can consume in ML.NET, and if I do something in ML.NET, so there is something called as the ONNX format. So what you can do out here is there is something here called as the ONNX format. So remember in this thing out here, look at this ONNX. So what happens if you write a Python model, you can export it in ONNX and you can consume in ML.NET, right? Or consume in .NET. In the same way, you can create a model in ML.NET and export in. So the ONNX is a general format for interoperability between the languages. That's why I'm saying, right? See, in today's world now, guys, already that LLM is already there. The ONNX system is already there. So it is not like Python only. I have to do only Python. I think that thing has now gone off. I'm not saying not to do Python. Your 10-20% Python will be there. Python you need to learn. Okay. Wish I can. Okay. No, there is no placement guarantee. Let me clearly say that, right? And you guys are all seniors, right? You can't have a placement guarantee. How to integrate AI ML.NET to OCR for third-party tools where you may have to use only .NET framework. See, if you want to, what you do is that you use Azure services. Let me give you so what I'll do is that I'm going to go and use an Azure service out here. Like there are lots of services out here, right? Uh, so you can go ahead here and use an Azure service. So discover, build. So uh, you can either go to Foundry or so basically in Azure AI, there is a lot of like text to speech. speech to text, I'm sorry, OCR and so on. You can just put that, expose it and use it. See, remember again, that is not really, that's just exposing that service and using it. Now terming that as Azure AI, AI developer is different. Huh? When I say AI developer, three, four concepts have to come in. So if you want to use it, you can go and use this Azure Foundry out here. In that Azure Foundry, we have by which you can go and you can export to OCR and so on. Expertise level needed for, so for C sharp developer, yes, if you're a C sharp developer, the basics of C sharp are needed, right? For Python, you don't need to know anything. Python will be taught from scratch. Okay. Technical questions. I'm looking at it. Can we build a custom model to get OCR? You can see, Pankaj, you can build a custom model, but think about it. Right? Then you are doing things from scratch, right? You're going to go and things from scratch. You're going to go and read that text. You're going to go and analyze them. You can do it. Huh? You can go ahead. You can create a custom model. So what you do is that any text, any image, you convert it into vector, and that vector is what you process. You can do it, but remember, I would suggest that for such kind of a thing, I would say that use something which is ready-made out there. So for a manager or a team lead, do we need AI ML programming or not, right? See, now definitely most of the projects are in AI ML. So at least I think if I'm a lead, right, I should know what he's doing. RAG, MCP, agentic AI, costing factor, right? Okay. So and second, if you are as a lead and as a senior, if you're applying anywhere a job, right, these things are very common. They would like to see that a team lead is enabled with AI ML. See, now you like it or don't like it, guys. This market is crazy after AI. So the in your resume and also in your day-to-day working, if you're not aware of the AI development part, then it is very difficult to go and govern the developers, right? Uh, is this course also ready to how to build production ready setup? So in this course, as someone has said that, will you also be teaching some other models out here? So if you'll see out here, definitely will not get stuck to only to this paid models. The paid model, the problem is that suddenly, like, if you say that I want to use some models where I don't want to invest money. So you can see here when I'm teaching that I also try to use some models which are like Glove out here, or must be I will use Llama also out here, right? So definitely many of the models which are out here, right, or many of the LLM which are out here will be using the local LLM model also. We'll be using Hugging Face. Like for example, this one here I've downloaded from Hugging Face out here. So absolutely, those will be a part of this. So quick roadmap. Remember, I've just shown the quick roadmap. Somebody's asking for the quick roadmap. This is the quick roadmap. This is it. Are you a inference developer or are you creating a model? If you're creating a model, ML.NET Python. If you're creating a wrapper around the LLM, MCP, content safety, semantic kernel, understanding vectorization, decoupling using iChat client and all that, right? I don't know which client you have, Aman. Let me know, right? Certification is available. Yeah, let me look at. I'll focus on technical questions. Support, please answer to the. Okay, okay. Technical questions. Python is necessary, Chandrasekhar. Python is necessary. Can you get a 32 lakh package with a 25K course? Very good question out there, right? See, just now, right, guys, I know that everything boils down to package, so that's, I don't know, 32. See, I don't want to give big promises out here, but I can see here that for this 10 years person, now definitely he's paying very low. Must be it's a remote job, he's paying very low. But let me tell you that in this job application, people who are from a AIML course, we remember that we have completed two courses out there, two batches, right? I would suggest you should apply over here because I can see in a week, and many such I have found, many such applications I have found. Over there, I have found that 40-50 applications are there. No, I mean, like if you look at an Angular ASP.NET kind of a thing, right? Or if you look at React, you will find like this is like in thousands or 600 or 700. But here I found it to be very low. So I mean, like this is a salary package out here. I don't know 35 lakhs is possible or not. What is your goal? But absolutely possible, right? Because see what happens now, guys, over here now, many of the .NET developers, at least to my best knowledge, are not aware of RAG, are not aware of a lot of things like ML.NET, right? Not aware of Azure AI. So your chances of getting these jobs become very easy. Many times in my class, what I say is that 10, 15 years back, if you say what is abstract class and interface, you are getting a job. Today, the situation is that with all that ASP.NET, Azure, and all that architecture, if you put RAG, if you put MCP, right, you are safe. You are having these creamy jobs when they come up, right? You are there over there. Okay. Again, there is no guarantee, no promise, but yes, it is there. The market is there. Uh, Schedule of the working professional. So working professional, Pinky, it's Saturday and Sunday. There is no guarantee of placement. Uh, Yes, we will be starting on 6th. Okay, let me see. Sorry, I missed out. I work on forensic products where data is highly sensitive. Please, question support, please post the YouTube questions if they are there, right? Because we are not allowed to use cloud-based. So, question from Sharad here that, as we said, so can local LLM such as Olama is a viable solution? Yes, it's a viable solution, absolutely. Now, remember that the accuracy depends on the model, Sharad, what you use, right? Accuracy depends on the model. Also in the local LLM, you have to put guardrails, security. That is also essential, right? So for that, so when you are having such kind of projects, right, it is very important that the local system, what you are using, right, the accuracy matters. That's why a lot of R&D has to be done out here to choose the LLMs. Security matters. For security, I will say don't compromise, right? Buy something which is out there, which is paid, like Azure Content Safety or any content safety which you feel, right? At least the security part of the prompts, right? Let it go through something paid. But that Llama, etc., you can use Olama. I think they have pretty much good models out here, right? I'm making application for machine. So is it useful? Applications for machine. See, AI ML is everywhere now. I don't have to say the market is saying it, right? Uh, Azure knowledge is not needed. Arun, I will take the basic of Azure. Don't worry, right? Uh, what kind of projects and use case builder? So the project what I'm planning out here is the project what I'm planning here is a very simple project, right? And this is the project I'm planning, right? It's more of a .NET interview mate, right? And remember, this would be more programming using Olama and the local system. So I'm not saying here I will use Azure AI, so on. Azure AI we will learn. So I will upload the resume. From the resume, the metadata will be extracted. It will go ahead, it will do the ATS. Depending on my understanding, like if I look at a resume, right, as a developer of a .NET person, what inputs I give, right, that skill gap identification as per my understanding it will do, right? And then on the basis of it, right, I will upload some interview questions, right, which I have collected from the from the community out there. So it will not go and ask now to Chat GPT saying, okay, tell me which interview questions, right? Not generic ones, the ones which are asked in the market. So here I'll be using our knowledge base, using the power of LLM and creating this simple project. And also with this, the nifty prediction will be there, which will help us to understand the regression also. MCP is also there, definitely, Sunita. Without MCP, this class will be a half class. Uh, Yes, human in a loop is there, hallucination is there, right? See, once you do this course, right, the interview questions you don't have to do, right? Because you're already doing a project. Can we create a model, a training without a token, cost effectively free? So Josim's question here, if you're cost effectively free, if you're saying, then you have to create a local thing, right? Why my comment is not showing up? It is showing up, right? What is the demand compared to Python AI ML developer than C Sharp? Python demand is more when it comes to AI. Very good question here. Why will I become a C Sharp AI ML developer? See, I'm not saying it to become a C Sharp AI ML developer. I'm saying become an AI ML developer which leverages C Sharp, which leverages Azure, backed up by Python. How I like it's not sound like a lump. It's not sound like, okay, I've like, if I look at the resume, right, I see that Python, then something and nothing after that. I don't find that. How do I integrate with my classical systems? How do I go and integrate with my ASP.NET or Angular or React, right? Those questions are not answered. So I think when you are, that's why I've shown you that requirement, right? Whatever is that requirement. In that, they're very clear. They're talking about RAG. They're also talking about C Sharp ASP.NET, right? So only Python, I think, will not convince the interviewer, right? Should we have prior knowledge of ML? No. No prior knowledge of Python? No. Right? Nothing. You don't need to have any kind of knowledge out there, right? Okay. Why do we need to create a model? In ML.NET also, you are passing data to the model. Using OpenAI with the prompt, you can achieve this result. So Rashib's question here, right? And I'll highlight this question, and that's what Rashib I have been saying in the class. That one is that you can be an AI engineer. So question out here. Why do we need to go and create a model? I will just go and upload it into OpenAI. First thing is the cost. Second is for such simple thing, do I have to really go and use OpenAI or Azure AI? That's one question, right? Second, guys, the most important thing in this code is that you are creating your own custom model. This object is your own model. You will use it locally. As someone mentioned out here, my company does not allow to upload data into OpenAI. So in that case, what you will do, right? You have to fall back to programming. And remember, guys, the way the token cost is increasing, you can see so many news coming out. He lost so much dollars. His credit card was there. Microsoft has stopped using Claude. I don't know what has happened out there at Anthropic. I'm sorry, whatever, right? So that means that small players who are creating small accounting application, like someone is a game guy out here, who will pay us the money to buy those tokens, right? At that time, custom solutions will win. And you will mark my words, as we go ahead 1 year down the line, custom solutions, feasible solutions, less cost solutions will be the way ahead. And definitely, like the programming around those models and programming around the local models or programming around that, all is same. The things are all same. At the end of the day, they are just MCP calls and so on, right? But the programming will matter at the end of the day. I hope I'm clear, right? Right. So yeah, so that's I think so guys, I hope this lecture was useful. Uh, I can see that a lot of people have complained about the cost, right? Please go ahead and chat over at the backend on questpond.com, right? And try to see. But remember that paying 25K for this much is easy. And second, a lot of 5 year subscribers, you can go and watch the video recording. See, live training is live training, right? People who have attended the last two live trainings, I'm like, just quickly, love.questpond.com. So, uh, right, so some of these are from the last AIML course who have come in out here, right? And you can go through the love.questpond.com where people have posted about us, right? The point is that in live training, 30 hours of training, every Saturday, Sunday you come. If you practice Monday to Friday, this becomes a part of you. What happens with recordings is you need to have that gist. We have thousands of videos on Questpond, thousands of teachable, thousands of things are out there. And many people who are subscriber correspond are, do you guys go and read those videos? I want you to go and see those videos, but really difficult. That's why we have come up with this live training. But the live training cannot come at a cost of 10K, right? If I'm hiring, I'm just not trying to make a point here, but the point is that if I'm taking a person like Sagar, right, who is working in a big company out there, he's already a 10 years of experience, right? If I'm taking up someone who is doing a POC out there, these courses cannot be created, right? It's not me alone. So I understand the cost part of it. So let me take up some more questions out here. So I will just go ahead and so anyone, so let me see. So I'm just going to go and pause out here. And so guys, please understand here also we have a chat out here. You can just go to available online and you can start chatting out here as well. So let us see if there are any technical questions which we can answer. Let us see. Let me see any technical questions. Yes. Payment questions, please send up a mail. Tuli JG, what is that? I'm sorry, I'm not aware of it. Yeah, very good entry from Karthik here. Let me see this. Okay, very nice. And this is the real market. I want all my subscribers, Questpond people out here, right? This challenge, very thankful Karthik for posting this. Currently, the market is very challenging, but I'm telling you that small part of it is not challenging. Specifically, when you blend the AI, ML, and C sharp and this, right? So absolutely right. Large language models, RAG, right? Exposure to Python. Huh? I'm not talking about going and creating web applications. ASP.NET is my web application framework. Why will I go and use Django? I don't want to use Django, right? Definitely LangChain, Llama, Pandas, embedding models, Azure AI, this is the key, semantic search key out there. Azure AI Foundry, right? So when you mix up all this, what will happen is you have that small 10% jobs out there where there's absolutely no competition, right? So a very nice share out there. Thank you very much, Karthik. Yes, I agree to that. Yeah, our WhatsApp group is also out there. Absolutely. You can join our WhatsApp group. We keep discussing about jobs and jobs out there. Yes, you can. Ajit, you can. You can easily say with some explanation that yes, absolutely you can. Oh, you will be able to understand the classes, Sunita, because the recordings will be available and so on. Do company consider only doing course? See, Shilpa, it's not about if you are going to just take the course certificate, there is no use. You have to do some small project, right? Some small project. Like somebody said, I want to do something around fintech. Fine. Like I'm creating a resume, interview mate. Some application you need to create and showcase, then it will look good, right? As your prior knowledge is not needed out here, don't worry. Okay. Okay, so let's take up some questions out here. Let me take up this again, another question from YouTube out here, right? And then after this, we'll end the session. What is your view on AIML skill for a dev lead who is having a 10 plus experience? Very much must. I mean, like the whole market is shouting AIML. See, in Questpond now, I will not take up a course if it does not have a market demand. If that course does not have a market demand, for example, a lot of people teach Blazor. I don't teach it because I know that the market demand is very less. We have stopped teaching the WCF and all the other things, right? So only what is his market demand, right? Microservices. Oh, we want to do it. Azure, we want to do it. AI, ML, absolutely there. Your CV will look like a classic old CV, right? If he's not having RAG and all the other things. Uh, So see the Sharath, the project I will leave it to you, huh? Project I will leave it to you because that is just one project which I'm talking about. So you can take up your own project, whatever you want. Okay. So guys, thank you very much. I hope that you have liked this lecture. All the code is uploaded out there. And please, just in case, right? You can also watch my YouTube recording, right? My YouTube video out there, which is of Azure AIML. So if somebody wants to go and just go a little bit in depth also, right? So must be you can just go and look at AIML C sharp. I'm sorry that I'm sure that we should be the top guys out there. So this one here, which is I'll upload it 2 weeks back, right? Uh, must be you can have a look at it, and I'm very glad to everyone, right? Because this video was almost it was almost of 2 hours, guys, right? Almost a 1.5 hour out there, and when people are sticking to you 1.5 hour, right? It means a lot for me, right? So please go ahead, watch that video. That will help you to understand more. Like today, whatever I have taught, that is also there. Second, in that also I think I have explained about the whole ecosystem as well, right? So must be you can go ahead, you can look into that as well. Right. Thank you very much. I know that a lot of questions are still there for this code. Do we need a setup in the laptop? No setup needed, Ajit. Simple Visual Studio. You don't need any setup, right? Don't need any setup. Okay, so can we make it 10K? We can make it 5K also if my management allows me, right? Guys, we spend so much money here and there in hotels and everywhere, right? Spend something on knowledge. Okay, I can understand, but VS Code, no, Meghnad, you need to have Visual Studio. VS Code for Python is okay, but for this is Visual Studio. It's one-time payment. Yes, 30 hours of training, 32, 35 actually it goes, Rashmi, right? Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, people who are logging from YouTube, people who have logged in from Facebook, people who have logged in uh, from the meeting channel out here. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Recordings you will get. Yes, thank you very much.